Guys, welcome back to Brit Asia podcast. Hunterz, you're making stuff at home, aren't you?
I'm loving it. Big up Brit Asia and hello, ladies.
Yes.
Hi.
America, you're back as always. What are you saying?
Yes, I'm chilling, just making the most out of lockdown. How are you?
I'm alright, man. Had a birthday in lockdown, you know.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Nah, but who you brought down anyway?
Where did you go?
This ain't about me, man.
Where did you go for your birthday?
Oh, you know
Trick
what?
question.
I booked the best spa, man. I went to my shower.
We love that. We do.
Full
heat on.
Full heat on.
Enjoying it.
Had a take
Love
out. Yeah, nah, you couldn't really do anything, man. But hopefully, once lockdown lifts, we're doing things. But anyway,
Yeah.
it's not about me, man.
Cool,
America,
cool.
who have you brought down?
So today I've brought down my friend from high school, Palms. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good.
So, Palms, just tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Parmjeet. I'm 21. Me and Haridika obviously met during high school years. I do modelling as a somewhat part-time but full-time career. Besides that, I work for a construction company. And yeah, just getting on with life.
Cool. So, as always, welcome to the podcast. This
Thank you.
podcast is about real stories, real issues, right?
Yep.
And we're not kind of sugarcoating it because, as you know, a culture and a generation, we've been sugarcoated too long.
100%.
So these are real stories, and even if we can help one person from this, awesome, right?
Yeah, it means a lot.
And we're going to talk about the issue of revenge porn.
Mm-hmm.
So revenge porn is something that's massive, right? It's a criminal offence essentially.
Yep.
And for those who don't know what revenge porn is, it's you send your partner a video or a picture, or they take a picture of you and they send it out, right? That is now a punishable offence.
Yep.
Now, you know, you have been a victim of revenge porn, even though it wasn't to the extreme of like, you know, explicit videos, etc.
Yeah.
You kind of went through that.
Yep.
But before we kind of talk about that, right, like, it's not something that's just impacting just, you know, this generation. This has been going on for a while. Like, Hunterz, like, you know, you've been in the industry for a while. Like, have you kind of heard anything about it? Because, and the reason I'm asking that is, you know, me coming into the industry from a young age, I used to hear this stuff happening a lot with models. You know, a lot of aspiring models would want to meet up with, you know, music directors, record label owners,
Yeah.
etc. And these directors would be like, yo, send us some pictures. Then we send us some videos. Okay, cool. Now send us pictures dressed in a certain way, in a certain way. And before you realize, you know, you've kind of fallen into this kind of Venus flytrap where someone's kind of, you know, taking the piss essentially.
Yeah, literally.
They've got pictures of you and you don't know what's going to happen to those pictures. Are they going to send it to somebody else? Like, as an artist,
That's bad, man.
did you hear about this kind of stuff?
No, I never.
Yeah.
So when we were coming up in the business, and if I did hear about anything like
Yeah.
that and it was close to us, then we would have gone and seen somebody.
Yeah.
Because we have sisters, we are fathers, and we wouldn't allow that at all.
Like, why do you think like some artists and record label owners and, you know, these I think the biggest culprits, and I'm not generalizing, like, I apologize, like, not everybody's the same, right?
Yeah.
Like, why do some music directors feel like they can abuse their power with these kind of models and be like, you know, come see us, but send us certain pictures or undress or whatever? Like,
It's the ego.
yeah.
It's the ego.
Do you think that,
Yeah, it's an ego, 100%. It's an ego, bad attitude.
yeah. Is it a
Because-
power trip?
Almost.
Yeah.
It might be a dominant thing as well, because
Yeah.
obviously male figure, they feel like, and in a way I could see it as social influence as well, because of the kind of music that they make. Not obviously pointing fingers, but there are people that make certain type of music that sexualizes women in a certain way. That other people take inspiration from that as bad inspiration, and they think that they can do the same thing.
Like, both you guys are like aspiring models, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, are you guys worried that, you know, when you see say you want like a certain gig, would you be happy to turn that gig away, or would you a case of like, you know, I'll do as that director says because he might give me that big break I really need?
No way, I'll turn it away. I've got too much self-worth to be doing a job that I'm not comfortable doing.
About yourself?
Literally,
Same
100%
thing.
the same thing. There's sometimes though when sometimes like if I'm going to see a new photographer or someone new, sometimes I'll say to Palms like, oh Palms, can you come with me? Because it's true, it's sad, but you never know. You literally never know. And sometimes it might be like, okay, the studio's in this house, and kind of looking at the photographer's work, it's a bit
Intense.
promiscuous and out there. So sometimes I'll be like, oh hello, like do you want to come with me? And it's sad, like it shouldn't be like that, but it's facts.
It's just like how you become molded, especially in that industry. Like, I've not first-handedly experienced it that much,
Yeah.
but I've heard stories, I've seen things for myself, and like I said, somewhat experienced it. But it's just a case of like the fact that it's becoming a normal thing.
It's wrong.
It's so wrong.
And sorry, I'm just gonna pick up on Hunter said. Like you said, this upcoming singer that you got.
Yeah.
You know, she was in a room full of guys, and she said she felt safe. She
Yeah.
felt comfortable. Do you know? And honestly, you don't hear that many stories like that kind of stuff.
That's Amina who featured on my first single for our record label, and I'm the one that brought her in, and I brought her in to the studio. And Amina, because she comes from my original hometown of Bedford, she knows my family. She knows it's a respectable family. But when she came into the room and when she left, she goes, "I've never felt that comfortable before." Because everybody in that room are real people. They're family people. You know, we wouldn't allow anything like that to happen.
Yeah.
So hearing stories like that is not good.
It's intense.
It's intense,
Yeah.
Disappointing.
Yeah, I would say disappointing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're in a position of power.
Yeah.
And you're kind of using that power to exploit, you know, potentially ruin someone's life.
It makes you feel so small. Like, just being asked. Like, I've been in a position where someone's like, once they hear that, oh, you're a model, oh, so you must be a certain type of way. Like, you must be easy. And it's just like, how have you gone from, like, putting me as a model to calling me easy? How does that make sense?
I said, like when I kind of grew up in the scene or whatever, like I used to hear a lot of stories about, you know, these models are sleeping with this director, trying to get a break, that director. It might not have been true, but the fact that these rumors are going around is tarnishing that person's image.
Exactly.
To the case of like, oh, next time she goes for a gig, how do you know another director's not going to be like, oh, hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The whole couch thing is wrong. Do you know what I mean? But the reality is, it's happening, and
It does happen.
And like this is just before we kind of move on. And I know you're itching to get in there, right? I just want to kind of just say, like, Hunterz, from an artist point of view, like, what do you think these guys need to do when they meet other artists, as in these upcoming models? What would your advice be to these upcoming models, like who are dying to kind of break into the music video scene, be a model, etc.?
Yeah, you can die to get into the industry, but do not lose your self-respect. Have that much respect for yourself. To, you know, if someone's asking you to do something completely against your character, do not do that. Do not do that. You'll find another way.
Yeah.
That person you should never look at that person as in, this is my shot at the big time.
No.
Don't look at it that way.
If you don't feel comfortable, don't do it. Simple as
Definitely
that.
do not do that.
You know, just going back to Thedge's point when, you know, you mentioned girls sleeping in with directors or whoever just to get into the industry. I just think it's a bit mad that if that was to happen, we automatically victimize the female, or either she's a victim or, do you know what, nah, she was easy. She brought herself into that. We always shame the female. Why is it that, like, if it was the other way around, where's
That's
the
a good
stuff
point.
into the male? Like,
No, it's like, is it Terry Crews? He once said he was sexually abused at an event.
no one believes men who come out and say that they've been abused.
They've
And
been
it-
raped. No, they don't.
Yeah.
People
And like Terry
don't
Crews'
believe
story,
it.
like he was like, yo, like he was at an event and someone grabbed his crotch, and he was freaked out about it. He's like, what do I say?
Yeah, what
And
do
then
you
when
do
he
in a
came-
situation like
And
that?
then when he came out of it, it was like, oh, well, you know, you must have enjoyed it.
Or
Yeah.
you're a man, like, get over it, like, man
it
up.
would have turned into a laugh rather than like, oh, whoa, like that happened to you. It's like, oh it's okay.
No, but it's
fine,
like,
yeah.
sorry, I'm going off on a tangent now, right? But it's like, you know, you read these stories online about, you know, school teachers kind of sleeping with underage students, etc.
Yeah.
Every comment under there is, where were these teachers when I was at school?
Yes,
my
I've
It's,
seen
it's
that.
never,
I've seen that.
you know, this person's preyed on a youngster.
So yeah, what
It's,
the hell?
where were these teachers when I was at school? Do you know what I mean?
It's so mad.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's a bit off topic, but my sisters are teachers as well,
Yeah.
and they've experienced, like, you know, when you're in school and like you're like, oh, that teacher's so good looking, like she's fit. Like, we had a teacher in our school that all the boys would look at and be like, oh, look under her skirt. That's the kind of extent people go to. And for me to have two older sisters who are both teachers, you know, it's always at the back of my mind, like, other kids out there that are looking at my sisters the same way, and I don't like that because it's wrong.
Do you know, just saying that, right? Like, so one of my brother's, like, good mates, his sister became a teacher when I was in secondary school. And for me, it was like, yo, I've got to protect her. I can't let guys talk, like, say these things about her, etc., etc. And again, it's until you're in that position where you know someone who's in that kind of field,
Yeah,
you then put your guard up and you're like, yo,
100%.
I need to kind of be like this. But sorry,
Yeah.
you was going to say, back on topic.
Back on topic. So, Palms, do you want to kind of go into maybe what happened with you, or tell us a little bit about your story?
Okay, so this was, I think, year 8 or year 9, so what, 13, 14, 15 years old,
Yeah.
basically. Just when, like, social media was new, Snapchat and Instagram was coming around. So I was speaking to this guy on and off, and as kids, it's just stupid conversations, just talking, whatever. There's nothing serious, no, like, reach for a relationship or anything. It's just talking. And then it was instigated because he was just like, just talking about in a sexual way, and I was like, oh yeah, cool. I started talking back because I was like, oh, this guy's really interested in me, because I've never had anyone interested in me, so I thought, oh, he must really like me, he must think I'm really attractive, and etc etc. And then obviously speaking and stuff, and then he asked me to send him a picture. I wasn't naked or anything, it was literally me in a bikini. So I was covered up. Sent it to him, not expecting him to screenshot it, because obviously I just thought, oh, we're just talking. Screenshot it, and then I was like, literally my heart dropped when I saw that screenshot. I was like, oh my god, like, what have I done? Like, I started beating myself up over it. I was like, oh my god, like, imagine if it gets out, and like, etc.
You've just lost a whole amount of trust.
Literally, it's like your like dignity's just gone. And then I obviously asked him, I was like, why did you screenshot it? Oh no, my brother just grabbed my phone, like, it's screenshot by accident. And me being like the young person I am, I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Naive.
Yeah, didn't think of it much.
But then when you look back at it, like, why did he show his brother? Right?
Yeah. It wasn't even that he screenshot himself, he just pretended that his brother...
Again, his brother's screenshot, but like, why did you show somebody else? When it's...
No, his brother didn't actually screenshot.
No, I know what you're saying, but if
that's what he said.
Okay, cool, yeah.
Has he showed
someone else's... Yeah, okay. Yeah. No, I get that. Obviously, yeah, young, didn't realise, I didn't think of anything, so cool. Back then, I was like, I used to like cover my head and stuff, because just family background, they wanted me to cover my head and stuff. So I already had this image in school, because I used to do cadets, and I would shave my arms and legs, because we used to do swimming competitions, and obviously I would feel insecure about my hair and my body. So people started kind of mocking that, oh, how is she covering her head and like shaving her arms and everything. But people don't really understand what, like, that's just not the person I am. Like, no disrespect to the religion or anything, but I wasn't this person that I was being forced to be. I had a couple friends, and I remember the day so clearly. I was going into a class, RE class, and I was sat next to my best friend at the time. And she was really quiet, and I was like, what's up with you? Why are you not talking to me? Like, what's going on? And she just kept ignoring me, and I was like, started to feel like this build up of like
tension.
Yeah, in myself, and I was like, what's going on? Like, why are you not talking to me? Have you not seen that picture that's going around of you? And I was like, what? Literally, my heart dropped exactly the same as it did when that screenshot came up on my Snapchat. And then I went around to my other friends, and I was like, what's this screenshot everyone's talking about? And then she obviously showed me. She was like, oh, like, he's gone and like shared it around the whole school, etc. And like his girlfriend at the time as well, who I didn't know they were together. Obviously, I wouldn't have said it if they were. She came over to me, like, obviously slut shaming me, saying that you're a slag, like, why are you doing that? Did you know we're together? And I was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know you guys were together. Like, he's probably talking to about 5 other girls at the same time. Yeah. I had no idea. And that's where it kind of just went on from there. I lost like the friends I had around me, because obviously no one wanted to hang around with the slut, the girl that's been through everyone, or however they wanted to call it. So I was like, cool. I was like, I don't want to speak to my family about it, because...
How do you talk to your family?
Exactly.
That's the kind of thing that...
I didn't have a relationship. The relationship I have with my family now is completely different to the relationship I used to have before. Yeah. I couldn't even, like, it's too much information, but I couldn't even tell my mum I started my period. Like, that's how intense it was.
I just want to go into that, like, what was I going to say? It's really hard for lots of Indian families, I feel like, or Asian families have the same problem. Like, how would you go to your parents in that situation? Or, like, so many parents and children can't even have normal conversations. So many parents and children can't even be in the same room if there's, like, a kissing scene on TV.
It's intense.
So it's just, like, if nobody teaches you, how are you meant to know how you're meant to react?
Yeah, how do you deal with it? You don't know.
What is right, what is wrong?
Exactly. So obviously I couldn't go back to my family. I didn't have the relationship I have with my sisters and stuff as I do now. Like, now I could tell them anything. Before, I became a very reserved, very private, kind of like, I dealt with it on my own. And it was intense, because I'm a kid. Like, looking back at it now...
It affected your mental health.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I thought I could never, ever... have the same friendship group again. No one would ever look at me the same. So
can I just ask you a question? Like,
yeah.
When this kind of image went out, did you kind of confront the guy about it?
I did go to him and ask him why he sent it out, and he goes, oh, I just showed another girl and she sent it out. And then I went to the girl and she goes, nah, he sent it. It was just like back and forth, like,
do you know what, like, and
chatting.
Like, hearing this actually really annoys me, right? And it's not just your story, there's so many stories out there. And I want to say this to every kind of guy, girl out there, right? If somebody that trusts you sends you this kind of stuff, there's no excuse for you to share that to anyone.
No way.
That's an intimate thing between two people.
Exactly.
And for you to kind of go around and do this, you're committing a criminal offense, as it is.
Exactly.
And it's like, even beyond that, you have potentially ruined someone's life. If tomorrow that kid, for example, ends up committing suicide or something because of your stupidity, that's on you.
Yeah,
Hundred.
absolutely.
And it's disgusting that and it's not just even like at a young age. This is happening amongst adults in
Yeah.
the workplace, in the industry, etc.
Yeah.
And sorry, and it just really irritates me that guys feel like, or even girls, who it's acceptable to kind of do this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it is not. On so many levels, it is not.
It sounds crazy, but people don't understand, like, that it's such a simple saying, put yourself in that other person's shoes, but people don't understand that.
Yeah.
They really don't.
Hunters, you know, you've got daughters, and you know how we mentioned earlier, like sometimes it's difficult for children and the old generation to kind of have these topics. For like the older viewers, like what advice would you give them, or how would you?
You have the generation now, like what happened to yourself. Social media is a very dangerous thing as well, right? This happened because of social media, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so social media needs to be monitored as well.
You know, you're the first person to say that. Apache said the same thing.
Literally.
Yeah, it needs to be monitored. People need to know, listen, enjoy yourself, do your thing, but there are rules and boundaries.
100%.
And if you break them, you will be held accountable. And everybody will know that you've been held accountable.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing. Coming back to your question, me and my daughters, we're friends. They can tell me anything. As I said before, when I had my daughters, you know, when the old stigma kind of thing used to be, oh, you've had daughters. I celebrated them like as if I had a boy. No difference to me.
Respect.
Yeah,
And that's
good.
exactly. My daughter wants to go into. She's doing makeup and she's doing special effects stuff.
Okay.
Right. So I remember I said before
Yeah.
on one of the episodes where she once showed me a picture of her arm and I thought she'd split her arm open. And I was like, what? She goes, Dad, I've just done it. It's a special effect.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And I go, wow, that's pretty good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Smashed
So
it.
now I'm working with our team. She will have opportunities, maybe to get into film or anything that she wants,
That's good.
whatever she wants to do. But with parents nowadays, I'd advise them, talk to your children, especially the girls. Become friends with them and do that because it is difficult.
Of course. If
Yeah.
I could, like, turn back time,
You would have wanted that.
yeah, I wish I had that relationship with my, like, sisters or something. And it's
Who
not
did,
obviously
who
no
did
one's
you
fun.
talk to
No
at
one.
that time? No one.
I actually became friends with another girl. Like, we became best friends because the same thing happened to her. But it was more intense for her because the police got involved and her parents found out.
You know what, man? Like, if these people are watching this, like, shame on you, bro. Like,
Literally.
whoever these people are doing it, like,
Yeah.
bro, I don't use profanity, but go fuck yourself, bro. Like, it's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, that is.
Like, there's nothing kind of like, there's no even silver lining about justifying this kind of thing.
Imagine it happened to their sister.
Yeah.
What if it happened to their sister?
They wouldn't like it, no
They
way.
wouldn't like it.
That's the worst thing. Half of these guys, and it could be the other way around, like if it's a girl sending a guy's photo, half of these people are the ones that are like so protective over their siblings, but then they're the same people to do that sort of stuff.
They think it's a joke. They think, oh, they don't think of the extent it could get to. They think about, oh yeah, look at her picture. She sent me a nude. She's such a slag. That's all it is.
But it's like you've built that trust with
Yeah.
the opposite gender for them to do that.
Yeah.
No one's gonna quickly just send you a snap unless you're paying for the service, right?
Yeah.
It's no, but it's true, right?
Yeah, 100%.
No one's like, you have to build trust. The conversation has to go that way, and 9 times out of 10, the person trusts you
Yeah.
to do that, and you've kind of gone back on your word and done
Yeah.
something like that.
100%.
You know,
It, like I said, my heart dropped as soon as I saw that screenshot because it was like, what? Like, you just become speechless because you're like, what do I do? Like, I can't take it back. And obviously, Snapchat back in the day wasn't as like, as advanced as it is now. You can delete snaps on Snapchat. Like, if you send it to someone, you can delete it.
but you can still save screenshots and stuff like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but if I send you a snap, I can delete it before it gets to you.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but back in the day, Snapchat wasn't that advanced. Like,
Yeah.
you send it, that's it, gone. And they screenshot it, and it takes 2 seconds to send it to one person, that one person sends it to another person, and all of a sudden you feel like everyone is looking at you, everyone's judging you, thinking, you're a slag, you're this, you're that. That's how it
Did
is.
it scare you to know that picture's out? You don't know what's happening with that picture. Like, did you think that far ahead? Like, you don't know where this picture's going to end up. And the reason I'm asking this, right, is, you know, there was this infamous kind of, let's call it a sex tape that went around. That video went as far as Canada, America, etc.
Yeah.
The girl that was in the video was victimized so bad. The guys weren't. The guys were praised.
The two
Yeah.
guys.
They
Yeah,
were
that's
like,
wrong.
They were like, yo, the lads, da, da, da.
Yeah.
But it ruined this person's life where, you know, they tried to, I don't know if it's true or not, but the person tried to move countries or whatever.
Yeah.
And someone said, yo, you're that girl in that video.
It's intense, isn't it?
No one ever reached out and said, let's support that girl. Let's
I was
understand
scared
that
for it
she's
to
gone
get to
through-"
my parents.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, my parents, they are very strict. At that point, they were quite strict. So my biggest fear was, forget everyone in school. If my parents see that, I'm dead. Like, what the hell am I going to do from there? It's just like, it's hard. It's very hard to think about that. And luckily, like, obviously, it didn't get to that point. It just went around, like, the school. Like, a lot of people didn't have it on their phones. It wasn't like a viral thing, but obviously it was just a picture.
Did you stop going to school at that point? Or
No.
You carried on?
I'm not sacrificing my education
Do you
for
know,
this.
there's no respect for that, man. Like, it's natural for someone to hide.
Yeah, of course. I wish I could. I would go home every night and cry in my room. I didn't want to show anyone, but I would do it because that's just how it. And it's crazy because of the person I am now. I'm a very emotional person because I've had emotional trauma, and this is like one of the things that has made that intense for me. Because obviously, it's already hard being a kid in secondary school. Especially in a all like Sikh faith school, it's hard because everyone's so narrow-minded. No, you would wear shorts during PE, like you probably know, and people turn around, oh, she's such a slag, she's wearing shorts. That's the that's how bad it was in our school. Like you wear shorts and oh, she's such a slag. Like look at her, what she's wearing, la la, her legs are out. It's intense. Even like the girls that took their like head covering off. Oh, did you hear? She took her head covering off. Look at her, look at her. It's so much gossip. It's so bad.
Can I just add, like, the photo she sent, she was clothed. Like, you still had clothes on.
Yeah.
Imagine the type of people that send photos without clothes on. And, you know, you were still scared that, like, what are people going to say? And then again, that comes back to our generation and our community about, like, you know, body type and just, like, what goes around.
Yeah.
So it's not even that. Like, I remember when I was in school, right, and picture phones are kind of I want to say picture phones kicked off, but it makes it sound really old. But like mobile devices are kind of picked up from then. Like camera phones were quite good, videos, etc. I think it was a teardrop phone then when I kind of went to secondary school.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember that, right?
Not a brick.
No, it was a cool phone, man. It's like a teardrop, like a Nokia one. But anyway, I remember like this one girl went on webcam. I think it's MSN days. She's done whatever. Somebody's filmed it on their phone. Next day, it's been circulated in school. And I remember I was walking home with like this kid I went to primary school with, etc. And he was like, yo, have you seen her video? I was like, no. I was like, I don't really want to see either.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, look, I got it. And I was like, why are you behaving like that?
Yeah.
Number one. And number two, why have you kept it? Like, what are you going to do with that picture and that video? And I was kind of like, yo, man, like, I don't want to see this. Like,
That's messed
I don't want you
up.
to send it to me. I don't want to have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
But it's like that reaction of like, yeah, I got it. That where I was like, yo, man.
That's bad.
Yeah.
I just want to add on that. You don't have to be the person who screenshot the photo to get in trouble. If you have that photo or video on your phone, you are also like
A part of
the problem.
basically, Yeah.
Like WhatsApp's dangerous. Like you
Group
talk,
chats.
Yeah.
Instagram nowadays as well.
I know guys that have group chats with people from like all over like different parts of the world and they don't even know these people.
Yeah.
And in these group chats they send videos or whatever.
Doing the most. It's
like
crazy.
it's scary like how quickly something can go viral. Like back then, for example, WhatsApp and that wasn't around, right?
No, not as like intensely.
Yeah.
It was Snapchat. Snapchat was the main thing back then. Like if you sent a picture.
Yeah.
Because I remember a girl. She was in a relationship, and she accidentally, rather than sending a picture, and it wasn't like
I remember this.
fully naked or something. It was just her sitting or whatever, and you could see her ass or something. And she was meant to send it to her boyfriend, but she accidentally put it on her story.
Yeah.
And then the next day, it was
Everyone, the whole year
yeah.
had it.
Guys, stop taking pictures of yourselves, man. Come on.
No, that's a fair point. Like, you know,
it was her relationship, and she accidentally literally put it on her story.
Yeah.
She deleted after like a couple seconds, and
it's
in that
that
time,
but it's like there's been instances and of that. There's been people in the Bhangra industry, like big names,
Yeah.
who've put stuff on their story,
yeah,
and it's been,
No, like Hunter said, stop taking photos of yourself. Can I
Yeah.
just say, like, taking photos of yourself and sending it to your partner, does that necessarily label, like,
No.
does that make your relationship now intense? Like, you don't need to do that sort of stuff just to validate your relationship with your other half.
No way. You do it.
It's the pressure, isn't it?
Let's say on the Brit Asia platform, all you beautiful women out there, any guy that says send me a picture, tell him to fuck off.
Yeah.
No.
You can edit that out if you want.
No, keep that because it's self-worth.
Yeah.
Don't kind of limit yourself to like a picture, whatever. You know, like I get it when like, you know, you're young, you're giddy and you're discovered, whatever. But the older you get, you have to be careful. People
Of course.
people can intercept like all these kind of messaging services. They're not secure.
No way.
Like cloud service, for example. Like people don't realize that your phone backs itself up on the cloud. Anybody can get into a cloud. Like how many mainstream celebrities have had videos leaked because things went on the cloud and people's hacked the cloud, gone in and leaked these pictures. You know what I mean?
We're not safe anyway. We're not safe up there, the cloud. We're not safe anyway. Where do we go? Let's go on the ground.
Yeah.
Stress.
No, that's true. But yo, so going back to your story, like you said, like you know, you wanted to cry every night, etc. How did you get over it?
I've not fully gotten over it. You can't ever get over something like that because it's something that changed your life, if that makes sense. It changed my life because I saw that my own best friends, rather than sticking up and being like, you're going through this, I'm going to be your support, they turned their backs away and they were like, we don't want to be seen with you. And that's how I became best friends with the girl that the same thing happened to her. And it was crazy because we obviously shared our stories and we became best friends for a long time after that. And it was nice because I was able to talk to someone about it and like openly like share my feelings.
Yeah.
And for her, the same with me, because I wasn't able to do that for a long time. About a whole year, I wasn't able to do that. But for me, it was just pull your socks up and get on with your life. Simple.
Respect to you for coming on the platform. Respect to you guys for bringing her on, because talking about it shows strength.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, if other people in the same position can see that, you know, you survived.
Yeah, look at me now. I'm
Thriving.
So proud.
Did you?
I'm so proud of myself.
No, but you are thriving. Like the work you've done with, like, you know, your modelling. The fact that you became a model.
Yeah.
The fact that you've been you've been approached by big companies, right?
Yeah.
It shows that you are doing stuff. You can survive. You can bet
100%.
yourself. And the people that have been behind it. Yeah, I'm sure karma's gonna catch up from
That
one
guy
day.
that like leaked my picture, he's doing nothing. He's working in JD. Congratulations to you, hun.
Yeah, no
Pick
disrespect.
up them trainers now.
Yeah, no disrespect.
Take them to the back. Stack them up right now.
No disrespect to people in JD. Like,
No disrespect to JD, but like no career, nothing. Dropped out of college, as far as I've heard.
Yeah.
What did he get? And it's karma. Karma is a bitch.
Would you say your inbox is open to anyone who's going through it?
Of course, I'm more than happy to help with anything.
And I
When it
think
comes to modelling,
yeah.
when it comes to anything like that, I'm more than happy to help because
And I think that's a big thing. Is like people need to know there's non-judgment support available,
yeah.
because everyone's always worried about, if I tell my story, am I going to be judged?
No way.
Do you know
Why? I've been in like groups of like people when they're like, oh, if he does this, I'm gonna screenshot his picture and I'm gonna send it. And or a guy says, yeah, well, if she sends me a picture, I'm gonna like bait all her nudes out. And it's just like, bro, why? What are you gonna gain from that? First of all, tell me.
Yo, this generation is savage.
Yes.
It's
is.
so messed up. It's so messed
You
up.
know what? Just,
I'm your friend, by the way.
no, like just speaking of that, right? Like you know, when I danced, we had a show in Wolverhampton once, and it was a good show. We went out to eat, and then I think you have a few drinks, we went to get food.
Yeah.
And we went down the high street, whatever, and like three of the boys went to get food, and I'm outside waiting. And I remember overhearing this conversation. I don't know who these two guys are, right? They were just two random guys. I'm just standing there, and he goes, "Oh, yeah, this girl sent me these pictures. Check it out. Da, 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 da. Oh yeah." He goes, "Oh, send to so and so." And I remember being there, right? And I grabbed his phone, and I was like, "You don't do them things."
No way.
And literally, like, these boys kind of backed off, like, "Yo," and I was like, "Why are you behaving like this? Why do you think this is acceptable?" And I remember, like, my mate, he came out and was like, "Yo,
What's
like,
going
don't
on?"
get into a fight." Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
He was like, "Give their phone back, man." Like, he thought I was like instigating something, and I was like, "Look, you can have your phone back, man, but just don't do this."
that stuff,
Well,
yeah.
respect to you, because not a lot of guys do
Yeah,
that.
they would egg it on. They'll
Or
be like,
they'll
yeah,
stay
show
quiet.
me.
They'll stay quiet.
I seen a video of an Asian artist getting slaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention a name, because we wouldn't, but I've seen that, and that video was going to go around, and me and one of my boys, we made them delete that video straight away. Yeah, I heard the backstory behind it, and the artist was in the wrong, but do not send that. Just stop that straight away.
It's like you've dealt with it.
Yeah, that's it. Why are you going to instigate even more?
But as for sending pictures of your partner and then stuff like
or
that,
your ex even as well.
yo, that's low, man.
I don't get it. I just don't see. I don't see what you gain from it. Like I've just turned around to people. I'm like, you don't understand until you're in that position. You don't know how it feels. Imagine if your dick picture went out, and people are laughing. Oh, look how small his like dick is. You wouldn't like that. I'm sorry, but you would not like that. But that's the extent people don't understand. They'll want to like turn around and be like, oh, look at that girl. You can see her this. You can see this. But when it's the opposite, it's just like
the thing is,
it's just a picture.
Everything you're saying is so true. But I can't justify or even understand or even comprehend why somebody would do something like this.
Yeah.
And sorry, there's just another story I remember. Like again, I was quite young. MySpace was popping off then.
Yeah.
And you know, the guys that I was working with, it was always a case of, look, we're always looking for new models to be in videos. Because back then, music videos had kind of really popped off in like the mid 2000s. Before then, like during the band days, it was literally, you put something out there, it's word of mouth.
Yeah, there weren't no music videos really.
And I remember like on MySpace, like somebody added me on MySpace, they sent their portfolio over. And then I was like, yeah, cool, I'll pass it on, etc.
Sounds good.
I think like a week later, the same account with the same name added me, right? So I was like, oh, maybe it's a new profile. But I was like, whoa, that's like an odd looking picture. So then I clicked on the picture and it was literally just so many nudes of this girl. And they've added every single friend that person had on their MySpace page. And I was sitting there like, what can I do?
So
Because all you can do is report the page.
Yeah.
But, you know, you message that model saying, yo, look, just make sure there's a page going around. And I was like, yeah, I know, it's my ex who's done that. You know, and I was like, well, why has he done that?
No.
And again, I don't know the rationale behind this guy's thought process of why he did it or whatever, but it's the thing that, you know, guys and even girls think it's acceptable once they have a breakup, or, you know, if they get rejected or they get dumped or things ain't working out, is let me tarnish that person's image to make me feel a little bit better.
It's like that, sorry to cut in, but it's like people kind of make it a joke now, but if, like, obviously referring to like London slang or whatever, if a guy comes up to you like, oh yeah, what's your snap? And the girl goes, oh no, sorry, I'm not interested. The first comeback is, oh, you're ugly anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. But I feel like Snapchat has instigated this kind of nudes to be sent. Because prior to Snapchat, there was no app to do it. And you've had so many stories
But
on
you don't
Snapchat.
send like nudes on like WhatsApp. That's weird.
I've never sent nudes. So
No, but I'm saying in general, it's easy because Snapchat is based around the camera, like, as it is. Even Instagram is kind of like turning into Snapchat a bit now, but WhatsApp is, it's not like someone would go on WhatsApp and be like, oh, let me go send like a picture.
Yeah.
Unless if it's your partner or something, okay, cool, fair enough.
Let me kind of like flip this around, right? So there's kind of like two people I want to kind of talk about. Is like, for example, Sunny Leone, right? Sunny Leone was an adult actress, and if you watch, one thing I really highlight people watching is the film Simply Sunny. I think it is on Netflix. She talks about it was a business for her, so she didn't want a 9-to-5 job. She realized she could make more money doing lingerie, and then she kind of evolved, etc. And she then moved into Bollywood. So our community, we're talking about that, shames people for sending out nudes, etc. Accepted Sunny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They went and sold out her films. They wanted to then book her for like music videos, etc.
Yeah.
So on one hand, yeah, you got people being tarnished, torn down,
Yeah.
made to feel so bad. And on the other hand, it's like, yo, but
You're
if
being
you're
praised
if
for
you're
it.
getting following, yeah, we'll praise you, we'll follow you, etc. Like I generally think a lot of these guys that are sending stuff, they're keeping this stuff on their phone for their own amusement.
100%.
Like you must have some serious, you know, issues as an individual to retain these kind of videos for your own pleasure.
100%.
Like that is absolutely disgusting, and there's no kind of middle ground around that.
No way.
Yeah. One thing I just want to kind of touch on as well is you mentioned that, you know, you haven't kind of got over it. Like you've moved on with your life though, right?
Oh yeah, I've moved on and I've accepted it, but it's something that, like I said before, it changed my life, because as soon as I left, like the last week of year 11, I was just looking forward to going to my new sixth form, starting a new life. Obviously not fully starting a new life because I was in the same area,
You've
but it
left
was
that kind of baggage behind.
yeah, it was a fresh slate. Like I'm not going to be with anyone I know from my school.
Yeah.
Forget everyone else. Like that's it. I'm gonna work. And modelling wasn't even like on there. I wasn't even that happened as like unexpected.
Naturally.
Yeah, I was in school, and I think it was like second year of sixth form. There's a bunch of girls that did photography and they needed a model, and obviously I wasn't a model at that time, but they're like, oh, like Palms, like let's use you, and I was like, cool. Started doing it, and then doing it every week, posting on my Instagram, and then eventually I did a shoot for my best friend's like Mendy company and stuff, and she was like, you have a lot of potential, why don't you kind of like take it forward? And I was like, not really feeling it, like it's not really my cup of tea. I've always been into acting. And then my agency approached me once I started doing more shoots, and then that's where it obviously went from there. And now I'm like doing work for like good companies, which is great for me because I see that as such a big achievement for myself. Coming
well
from,
done.
Thank you. Coming from where I was so low, and I'm still at points in my life where I still feel like my mental health isn't the greatest, but that's just something that I'm working on.
I think we also need to appreciate people do mature. Like, I'm sure you guys aren't the same people that you were at the beginning of lockdown, like a couple months ago. And I'm sure people have changed over like the last 5 years. That's cool. People mature and people, learn how to deal with things correctly. However, then there is a turning point, which we discussed in another podcast, where we said, where are people's true intentions? Why are they now messaging you? And what do you guys have to say about that?
Chasing clout.
It's cool.
It's true. I know Palms. She's a model. That's how I see some of them. I'm not blind. I'm not stupid. I can see there's certain people that are messaging me, and I actually kind of respect the people that weren't like my friends like back in the day, and they still don't message me because I didn't have any relation to you then. Why would I have any relation to you now? Like, in a way, you might not understand it, but I
they're
get
keeping it real. That's real.
Yeah, like
they're not chasing you now that you've made it.
Yeah, exactly, and I respect that so much because it's like, you're not trying to be my friend now just because of my career.
You respect that more than those people saying like, oh, I've been watching you and, well done.
Yeah.
I literally look at the message, I'm like, shut up.
There's a lot of leeches in the culture.
I've had loads of that. I've had people say, yo, H, long time no speak. I'm like, we never spoke. What
are you talking about?
You know, my brother said the same thing. Like my brother was talking about like when he finished like university, he goes, he didn't know kind of how, because he was the first one in our generation kind of go to university. My parents didn't go. So it was a big thing. When he finished university, he was kind of like trying to find work. But you don't, like, unless someone kind of teaches you how to find work about graduate schemes, etc., it's a bit difficult.
100%.
So he was trying to find work, and literally, like, this guy worked from like the bottom. He worked his way up, like, and like kudos to him, man. Like, I'm proud of him. And I remember once somebody called him up, and he was being made redundant from his job. He hasn't spoken to this guy in years. And the first thing was long time no speak.
Yeah.
And my brother was like, yeah, what do you want?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
He should have said not long enough.
But and I think that's like everywhere. It's like when people kind of when people need self-benefit,
Yeah.
they're gonna look around. They don't understand like how many hours people have gone and done something. Like even with me, like when I first started social media stuff, I was telling like everyone here, like I was doing things and I wasn't getting paid. You know, there's people out there that owe me money.
Yeah.
There's people out there that said, oh, sorry, we haven't got the budget anymore. You know what I mean? And I was doing a lot of things for next to nothing. So people don't understand that all that for me was a learning process, a learning curve. But then as soon as they see like, oh, like, you know, he's starting to do things, he's getting more clients, etc. It's like you don't realize the 5 years prior to that.
Hard work, the grind. They don't see the grind.
They don't see the BTS behind it, behind the scenes. They don't see what's going on. They don't know how much work you're putting into it.
Yeah, and that's where I think, like, you know, it's just I want to say it's a cultural thing. I think it's just a human thing.
Yeah. Thing is, like, I appreciate everything I get, like all the support and help and everything. I appreciate whether it comes from people I don't like, people I like, anyone. I appreciate it because support is support at the end of the day. But to me, because of that big thing that happened in my life, I'm sorry, but if you were someone that was involved in that situation, especially if you're that person that left me hanging, I don't want anything to do with you. If I'm doing better now, it's because I've worked my way up for it. As have other people. I'm not the only one. There's so many people out there that want to tell their story, and that's great, but it's just a case of, like, some people just genuinely don't understand the reality of it because obviously some people haven't been able to, like, speak about it. And that's why I'm glad that I've come on today relating to one of the big things that happened in my life that changed everything, that impacted a lot.
Yeah.
And it's kind of made me the person I am
do
today.
you kind of feel better? I don't know, even Apache says as well. He goes, it's therapeutic to kind of talk about it finally.
Yeah, respect you.
Like, do you kind of feel a lot better kind of now talking about it out publicly?
In a way, like, I feel more at ease talking about it.
Yeah.
Before,
You've empowered it.
yeah, I hold it like down. I'm like, you know what, like, that happened to me, and what, like, you know,
And you're helping other people who are going through it, or
it's made me like the person I am today, and that's what I'm proud of.
What would you say? Like you guys mentioned at your school. I'm guessing it's not just your school. A lot of kids
Everywhere.
in schools, universities, etc.
Everywhere.
It happens. What would you say to that person, like, who is still struggling with it?
It's difficult because everyone handles things differently.
Of course.
I can't give specific advice because
Yeah.
not everyone takes the same advice. Obviously, the way I handled it was pull my socks up and just dealt with it, and that's how I've dealt with a lot of things in my life.
Yeah.
I'm someone that can let go of people easily. That's just how I've grown, and that's because of the rough thing that have happened in my life. But it really just depends on the person you are. It's hard to give advice, but if you're someone that's similar to me, you'll get through it.
Yeah.
You'll get through it. There's bigger problems in life. It sounds like really harsh criticism, but there are bigger things in life, and don't let something like this torture you, like ruin your mental health.
Define you.
Yeah, don't let it become you, if that makes sense.
That's a great attitude.
Yeah, don't let it become you.
That's
Why
strength.
are you gonna define the person that you are based on something that you did?
Yeah.
Don't even see it as a mistake, because
It's
it
the
happened.
past.
Yeah, it happened. That's it. End of story. Why are you gonna keep dwelling on it? Like, you are so much better than what has happened.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wish I could turn back in time, and I can't. That's impossible. Rather than thinking about what I could have and should have done, I think about what I'm going to become,
Yeah.
and how I can move forward from it. And if someone wants to turn around and say to you, oh, I heard you done this, I heard you done that, tell them to shut the hell up. That's not their business. I would issue, if someone turned around to me going, oh, do you remember in year 9 when you sent that picture? I'd be like, so, what's your problem?
Yeah. And why are you
What's your
bringing it up?
problem?
Yeah.
Do you want me to talk about something that happened with you?
Yeah.
They wouldn't like it.
Mm.
That's the thing. People don't understand that. But that's just, it depends on the person, because some people don't even want to talk about it. Some people are too scared, and it really just depends on the person. And it's hard to obviously try and give like the best advice.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's,
You know, I was actually watching this video a couple of days ago about Drake, and he goes, the best advice his mother ever gave him was the 72-hour rule. And he goes, the first 24 hours, you're going to be angry.
yeah,
The next 24 hours, you're going to be asking yourself and questioning yourself. The 72nd hour, you're going to accept it.
yeah,
The next 24 hours, life goes on. And
Literally.
he goes, because that becomes yesterday's news.
oh, news
And
actually.
if anybody is watching it, look, man, it will get easier.
Of course.
Like, mistakes happen. It's not your fault. It's that person's fault. But definitely, now it is a criminal offence.
Yeah,
You
there
know what
are
I mean?
so many big
Right.
opportunities in life, and I'm just one example. There's so many people out there that have like done so many bigger things. I'm proud of what I've done, because once I stepped into the career, I wanted to make myself something, and I have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just one example. I pushed through it, even though you have days where you think about it, you get upset, and that's fine. Like, no one's holding a gun to your head and saying, you can't cry, you can't feel emotional. You can. Even if it means you sit in your room and you cry in your bed, do it. If that helps, then do it.
Yeah.
But don't ever hold back or bottle it up or lose yourself over something that is literally so stupid. Like, don't stress over it. It'll get better. There are so many other opportunities in life that will mean more to you. So many opportunities that you literally be like, you know what? You laugh at it and be like, I'm doing so well now. Why am I even thinking about that?
What would you say to, for example, you mentioned like your friends stop talking to you. It's not easy. You need your support circle around you.
Yeah.
What would you say to those people like who've gone through what you've gone through, and possibly even more worse,
Yeah, of course.
and their friends have stopped talking to them? Like, what kind of advice would you give them?
If that friend hasn't helped you or supported you, has turned their back on you, forget them.
That's not a friend.
They
That's
were
not
never
a
a friend
friend.
in the first
No,
place.
no
That's
way.
not a friend.
If that happened to someone close to me, I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure that that person can get through it.
Yeah.
I would never want to be in that position, but that's the thing. So many selfish people out there in the world, they don't understand that it affects you a lot. But that's one thing I'll say. If that friend turns their back on you, you turn your back on them and you carry on with life. You'll find someone else that's so much better that will support you through everything and anything.
Yeah. Awesome.
Simple as that.
Yo, it's been intense, man, and I really appreciate coming down. And I'm
That's all
sure
good.
not just us, but everyone around this table has
Yeah.
taken away something from this.
Big respects.
Yeah.
Respect.
The only thing I want to kind of just close off now
Yeah.
is just final thoughts, man. Like
Mm.
this revenge porn stuff is a big issue. It's growing. It's growing. It's growing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, hunters, even with yourself in the industry, you know, the exploitation of, you know, models
Yeah.
is becoming a more bigger thing. As in, I'd say it's becoming a bigger thing because now people are talking about it more.
Yeah.
But what would you kind of say to, you know, anybody upcoming? What would you kind of say for, you know, people that have gone through it?
For the ones that are upcoming, be careful.
Yeah.
Work out what you're going into. Go into it with open eyes. The moment you see something uncomfortable with a photographer, a director, or an artist, get out of there. Okay. Anybody who's been through it, look at this lady and what she's gone through and how strong she's been and how she's had that "fuck this, man, I'm gonna carry on" attitude and do that.
Yeah. And really just with yourself, like, again, you're somebody that's coming into the scene, you're making moves. What have you kind of taken away from this?
Just keep your family close, keep your friends close. I think just get educated as well, like boys, girls, get educated. If you are someone, you know, sending photos, doing anything, it's a criminal offence at the end of the day. If you are a victim, there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Can I just say, take a picture of your cat or your dog or something else. Stop taking
know what?
pictures of your
Get
backside.
pictures on Google.
The funny thing is, some people do that. When they'll say, like, yo, send me a picture of yourself. And people say, like, a random body part.
Yeah.
And they kind of
Like your foot or something.
yeah.
Make a
And,
joke out of
And this is
it.
the thing, if a guy really likes you,
No,
No,
when,
no.
when they
Not
say
matter.
send me a picture of yourself, take a picture of your shelf.
yeah.
Send that instead.
But if a guy really likes you and you say no, like,
Yeah.
and if he walks, that's not the guy for you.
Yeah, no way.
100%.
And even with a girl, if a girl walks, that's not the girl for you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, have self-worth, have self-value, man.
Yeah.
And don't kind of run after things with a lost cause. Yeah?
Unless if you feel comfortable, don't do it. Like,
Right
as
up.
simple as that, because it will get to a point where you'll think, oh, shit, I shouldn't have
Yeah.
done that. At the end of the day, you've only got yourself.
That's
Like,
it.
you came to this, like, earth yourself, you're going to leave yourself. Like, that's just how it is. So you'll have people around you that come and go, but like everyone else said, just do things that make you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
If you feel like any part of you is just telling you, this feels a bit dodgy, this doesn't feel right, I don't know,
Go with your gut.
Move off.
go with your gut.
The,
Simple.
the biggest relationship you have on this planet in your life is with yourself at the end of the day. So if you don't value yourself, what are you kind of living for?
Send a
Yeah.
picture to yourself.
I look great.
Yeah, I look cool.
Literally. But yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure that everyone's inbox is open. If somebody wants to reach out to any of us around the
100%.
table, yo,
Absolutely.
everyone's inbox is open. If you want to just chat about it, we're here. But guys, pleasure as always. Brit, your podcast.
See you guys
Big up.
soon.
Big up.
Mm.